If you've clicked on this video, chances are that you've tried everything under the sun to help you find your purpose. You've looked into astrology, you've looked into numerology, you've looked into your human design, you've tried and tested every possible workshop, free guide and tool that is out there to help you find your purpose. Yet, you're still in square one, you still find yourself just as lost and confused as you were when you first started this journey. So why is that? Well, you're in the right place because in this video, I'm going to cover why looking for your purpose doesn't really work, what you should be doing instead, and I'm going to give you 3 questions that will really help you to really find what your actual purpose is. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Bridging the Realm. Thank you so much for being here. On this channel, I discuss everything from mysticism to spirituality with the aim of bridging the spiritual and physical worlds together so that we have a more aligned way of living. So, why is it that so many people still finding themselves confused in terms of what they're meant to be doing here? Despite us having so many free tools out there, so many YouTube videos, so many guides, so many podcasts, a lot of people are still finding themselves back to square one in terms of what they're meant to be doing here and now. In the last 10 years of exploring the spiritual field, there are a couple of things that I've realized along the way in terms of what we should be looking for when it comes to finding our purpose. One of the first things is that your soul is constantly and always communicating to you what your purpose is through simple things such as the things that we feel magnetically pulled towards, the things that we feel called towards, the things that are constantly coming back to us in our minds, the things that we naturally feel drawn towards. And I want to mention, I think this part about the soul is very important because the chances are if you are someone who believes in purpose and that you have a purpose, then very likely you also believe that we have a soul because the two kind of go hand in hand. So one thing I think we should realize is that there's no looking for this purpose or thing that we're meant to be doing because our soul is constantly communicating this to us every single day through just the things that we feel naturally drawn to. If you feel magnetically pulled towards doing a certain class or a certain thing or speaking to a certain person, that's already your soul communicating to you that this is the right path for you. So one thing I think is very important to understand is that it's not just this big thing that we should be waiting for to drop from the sky and be like, oh wow, this is it, this is how my big purpose. No, your soul is constantly telling you what your purpose is through drawing you into certain things, into certain paths, and drawing you towards certain aspects of this life. So I think once we understand that and once we kind of start to really listen to that small voice inside that is constantly pulling us every single day towards certain things and pulling us away or out of other things, then it becomes a little bit easier. And I guess it kind of takes the pressure off that there is this one big thing that we need to be looking out for. And oh my gosh, if we miss it, that's it. We've missed our chance. It doesn't really work like that. Instead, what you should be looking for is and we should be acknowledging is those small steps, those small little moments when your soul is communicating to you through these little pulls that you're being drawn towards, these little things that you're being pushed to do or to go into. So that's one thing. And I think the more we actually do that and the more we listen to that small voice and the more we actually take action towards those things that we're being pulled into, then that's already kind of giving the message to our soul, okay, I'm listening, give me more. So that's the first thing to understand. The second thing to understand is that most of us, many of us, are feeling very, very blocked inside. We have so many voices inside of us, so many energies and so many frequencies and things going on inside of us that we have absorbed from the outside world that really shouldn't really be in our field, but for whatever reason they are. And mostly it's because people don't even know how to take care of their energy field, of their aura, of their energetic inner coherence. And when that gets disrupted, because we all have this sort of energetic signature inside of us that is really our energy fingerprint, shall we say. So we have our physical fingerprint in the same way we have our inner energetic fingerprint, our frequency, our inner frequency. And when that frequency gets disrupted by things that are outside of us that impinge on our frequency or enter our frequency when really enter our energy field when really they shouldn't be there, then what happens is we lose touch with that inner voice. So all of these outside voices start to impinge on our own inner voice, and our inner voice kind of just gets completely blocked out because our aura, our energy field has been weakened. Our energy field is leaky. It's leaking out our own energy, and also it's allowing outside energies to enter into our field that really shouldn't be there. So one of the biggest things that I can recommend is to first, before you start trying to find your purpose or what you're here to do, is first to clear the inner chaos. And that's really the most important thing that you can do as a foundation, as your big foundation that you can then build upon and then look for the things that you're here to do. Because if we don't have that inner coherence within us, if we don't have that main foundational structure of where we know what our own inner voice feels like in our own intuition, how are we supposed to tell the difference between what our voice is and what other people's voices are? So the first and the most important thing is to really clear the chaos within us. And I actually have a free guide to you guys called the Aura Survival Guide, which explains how exactly our energy gets affected, what are the type of things that can affect and weaken our aura, and also how you can clear it. So if you want to learn more about that, and if you want to clear some of that chaos within you, I would definitely recommend downloading it for free in the link below in the description. So the solution is simply to remove the chaos. And once you've removed the chaos inside of you, once you feel strong and coherent within you, then all you have to do is just open yourself to the messages that our soul is constantly sending us all the time, every single day, not just once in a while or once in a blue moon. We get those messages constantly, but it's about clearing the chaos just enough for us to actually be able to see when it is our own soul speaking to us and when it's not our own soul speaking to us, because our soul and our intuition is how the soul communicates with us. So if we don't have that inner connection with our intuition and our soul, then how are we supposed to be guided? How are we supposed to tell where we're meant to be going in this life? Because then we just become susceptible to what other people are telling us or what the culture is telling us, what society is telling us, which I'm sure you all know that normally doesn't turn out very well. So guys, the best thing to do is to really clear the chaos first. To really help you to understand this concept, I'm going to give you a small example from my own life of when I really saw this happening to me and when it really helped me in my own life. So about 5 years ago, I was in a position where I felt very lost in life. I didn't know what to do with myself. All I knew is that there were certain things, there were a couple of things that I felt drawn towards, but I didn't really know where to start or where to go or how to do any of that. And I somehow came across, when I was searching online, I came across a podcasting course. And immediately there was something in my energy, there was something in my body that just opened up to this thing. I just felt immediately drawn to this idea of doing a podcasting course that potentially can teach me how to do a podcast, how to start a podcast, and then eventually go into podcasting. The idea really resonated with me, and in fact, it was something I had already been thinking about. Then this came into my reality, and I thought, okay, this seems like an interesting thing to do. Now, the course costed quite a lot, so of course, my logical mind was kind of like, okay, this we can't afford this. This is this is not happening right now. So I left it. However, with the following up in the weeks following up to that, I kept coming back to the course. I kept thinking about it. It kept coming into my mind. So whether I was going out and going for a walk, I would randomly, the idea of doing the podcast course all of a sudden came into my mind. I'll be washing the dishes and all of a sudden I will start thinking about the podcasting course. And it just kept coming back to me. And this is, for me, this is a big indicator of when your soul is communicating with you, when something keeps coming back to you and kind of nudging you. It's kind of like, come on, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? So it was one of those moments where I just thought, okay, I just felt like I had to do this, you know? So I invested in it, I did the course, and it was one of the best things I could have ever invested in, because it just gave me that energy, it gave me that impetus to actually start this and to really not just start it, but start it and complete it and actually go into it fully, not just something that I'm trying, testing out, and then I kind of just halfway through I leave it, which tends to happen with me a lot of the times. So I did the course, and honestly, it opened so many doors for me. And I mean, speaking now here on YouTube, I still have the podcast, although it's slightly changing right now in terms of the information that I'm sharing, but it's still something that opened so many doors for me. And I knew from the very beginning when I first came across this, I knew that this is something for me. It's like my soul was just telling me, yes, this is, you need to do this. Look, you need to go into this. And so this is just giving you an example of how sometimes soul can be communicating with you. Many times it can be when you have you doing something randomly, and all of a sudden you get this thought about this thing that you feel like maybe you should learn more about, or this person you should speak to more. Yeah, so it's really important for us to kind of realize these small signals and these small signs because they are very small. We normally tend to think of, when it comes to purpose, we think that it should be something huge and this grand thing that changes our lives completely. But normally it's taking those small steps. It's noticing those very, very small and subtle shifts and changes and nudges. And once you start to follow them, it builds up, and it kind of gets into this snowball effect where it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, okay, this is the thing. But if I didn't take that small step from the beginning, I wouldn't have got here. So that's an example of how maybe potentially could work for you. Maybe it could work in a different way. But again, guys, the most important thing is that you need to work on your clearing your energy field, your aura. You need to clear the chaos within you, because if you don't, there's no way for you to hear that voice. There's no way for you to connect with your intuition that's telling you and nudging you to go into certain directions. So one of the most important things that you can do, and that I've realized in the last 10 years of being in the spiritual field, is really to have that strong foundation of really being centered within yourself. So if you're interested in diving into this and you're still here and watching, then the chances are there's something in it for you. Maybe this is one of those cases where this idea will keep floating back to you and floating back into your mind, because your soul knows that this is something that is going to help you to level up, to really step into the next part of yourself, the next version of yourself. So if you're feeling drawn to this, I've created a full blueprint for that, a course, a 15 module course that teaches you 10 different techniques in terms of how to clear your aura, how to clear those influences, those energies that are inside of you. Also, what are the type of things that can influence you negatively? What are the type of things that can influence you positively? And I also have 3 bonuses, including how to clear your home from energetic influences. I've just opened up the first cohort, the first group, and it's going to be very limited spots because I really want to take care of everyone who does this, everyone who invests in this course. It is a do it at your own pace course. However, we will be having Zoom calls at the end of every month for the next 3 months, because I really want to take care of you guys and I really want to see how you progress with everything. And I know that this is something that could truly help you build your own foundation of how to really hear your own inner voice again and clear out all the chaos that's happening within you. So if you feel drawn towards that, definitely click on the link below. And I'm also giving a 50% discount to the first 20 people who sign up. So if you want to be one of those, then make sure you sign up as soon as you can. So coming back full circle, I want to simplify it for you and give you 3 questions that I feel could really, really help to nudge you and to really open up that space for you and for your soul to come through more. So 3 of those questions that you can ask yourself to help you figure out what your purpose is or what you're meant to be doing here are the following. The first one is, what scares you the most? What scares you the most? That's definitely a scary question, and one that many people don't want to admit to. But what I found is that most of the things that scare us the most, they scare us because deep down we know that if we do that thing that scares us, we're going to level up massively in such a massive way. And when I think back at my when I started the course, when I did the podcasting course and signed up to it, that scared the hell out of me, because I knew it was something that was so different from me, something that I've never tried before. I've never gone into this field before. And the idea of even putting myself out there, putting my voice out there, I used to hate the sound of my own voice, and sometimes I still do, to be honest. Everything about it scared me. But at the same time, it was a good fear. It was a fear that I knew I would just, it would just, if I do this thing that scares me, I'm going to grow and expand in such a huge way. It's those, obviously, it's one of those fears. It's not the type of fear that, you're swimming and there's sharks in the water and you're like, oh yeah, this scares the hell out of me, so let me go inside. So okay, this is not the kind of fear we're talking about. We're talking about the fear that deep down you know you should do because your soul knows that it will take you to the next level. So what is it that scares you the most? So answer that for yourself. The second question is, what keeps calling me? So the whole idea that we have a calling, our purpose is our calling, well, it keeps calling you for a reason, right? It keeps coming back to you. So what's something that keeps coming back to you? So something that you just feel naturally drawn to all the time. So if you're just sitting down or you're just walking in the park and all of a sudden you start thinking about this one thing, you just start, I don't know, if you for example, if you're a mathematician and you love maths and you love equations and stuff like that, then you'll probably be, I don't know, sitting in the park and starting to try to figure out the geometry of the tree, or, how far is the bench from you? I don't know, something crazy like that. But it's just something that comes so naturally to you that you don't even have to try. You don't even have to try to do this thing. No one has to force you, put a gun to your head to say, hey, do this thing. So what is this one thing that just always keeps coming back to you, no matter what you do, no matter in what circumstances you find yourself in, no matter where you go or who you speak to, this thing that you just love to talk about or you just feel naturally drawn to always keeps coming back into the equation, always keeps coming back into your life through some sort of way or form. Okay, so that's the second question. The third question is, what advice would you give your younger self? I believe that's actually a question from a podcast that I used to listen to. I can't remember which one it was, but it's an amazing question. And I've taken it on because I think it's an amazing question to really ask yourself. And honestly, I feel that most people who end up finding their purpose or doing what they love is essentially something that their younger self was trying to figure out. So, for example, one of my things. So right now, I'm diving into the whole topic about the aura. I'm exploring energy, the energy world, and spirituality. And this is definitely something that my younger self would have wished that she knew more about, because it's really helped me to figure out certain things about my own life, to figure out where I stand, to figure out my own purpose, and also what were the things that were blocking me from getting to my purpose, from getting to the things that I love to do. So these three questions, if you manage to answer those, I promise you that you're going to be at least one step closer to finding your true purpose in life. But again, guys, to go back to the main foundational point, you can't do any of this until you clear the chaos inside of you.